I am Rob Breaux. This is the Rob Breaux Show. I am the host. You are the co-host. You can co-host today by commenting below, hitting that like button, smashing that subscribe button, doing everything you can do to help the channel. That's how you're a co-host and I'm a host. There's going to be a huge overreaction today. It's not overreaction. It's just a reaction, I think, to these overgrown, overhyped, overpowered freaking mosquitoes. I was wearing 2 layers of pants at a soccer game, and these beasts hammered my legs. Just ridiculous mosquitoes. They've got 6-inch stingers. They get all the way into 2 layers of pants. It's crazy. My knees are all ate up. These mosquitoes love my blood type. It's tough to be me during the summer. It's real tough to be Rob Breaux. That's all I'm saying. These mosquitoes, they're bad. They're going to be bad this summer. All this rain was good, replenished a bunch of stuff, but man, this standing water has really gotten the mosquitoes going early this summer, and they will be here for a long, long time. So, again, not an overreaction for Overreaction Monday, but that is a reaction of mine that this weekend the mosquitoes really showed up, and they will be here for the long run. Am I excited about that? No, I'm not, but it is what it is. All right, let's get into Overreaction Monday and some overreaction. Of course, if you want to drop your overreactions in the comment section, you can. We can all overreact together. First off, some news that came out Friday that I think maybe some people would think I might have overreacted to, but I have not. And that is that Tyler Shuck is the starting quarterback of Texas Tech and the Texas Tech football team. Good. The only overreaction I have is why on Friday? Friday, June, what was it? June 10th? What is today? The 12th? The 9th? Whatever it was on June 9th. Just kind of out of nowhere. Hey, by the way, while we're hosting all these official visits, Tyler Shuck's the starting quarterback. All right, cool. We knew that. I mean, it was fairly obvious, yes, that he came back and he was going to be the starter again. He went 4-0 to close the year. But what happened between now and spring football? I don't know, but it is what it is. Tyler Shuck's the starting quarterback, and I like it. I like that Tyler Shuck is the starting quarterback. He is, well, he's undefeated when starting and finishing a game. That we all know that stat. He's 7-1 or whatever all time at Texas Tech. He was 6-1 or something at Oregon. He just wins. He's a gamer. There are deficiencies in his game that I think Morton is better at, but there are deficiencies in Morton's game that I think Shuck is better at. Reading a defense, getting into the right play, running the ball when he has the option to. And I mean, not running himself, handing the ball off. I think Morton is looking to throw the ball a lot, which I don't mind, and I don't think Zach Kitley minds, but I think the team minds. So Tyler Shuck, QB1, we all knew it, and we all can move on now. All right. Next on Overreaction Monday, McGuire gets all the recruits, Spencer says. And it's true. And this is the case in men's basketball so far. If you've gotten a recruit to campus, they will commit. In the transfer portal, it was true with Coach Gerlich. If you can get them to the Womble, they will commit. And hopefully that's true. Now, it's not, everyone's not committing, but 3 committed over the weekend and seemingly 3 high-level players committed over the weekend. I'm sure that news will trickle out today if it hasn't already. I've been preparing for this show. I haven't looked to see if they were confirmed. But 3 high-level recruits committing this weekend, and that's for the number 1 class in the new Big 12. They're on their way to another top 25 class. It's going to be interesting. Right now, it's UCF, it's Texas Tech, UCF, Cincinnati, West Virginia, TCU, all up in that top 5. Oklahoma State, I think, still in the top 5 recruiting-wise. So you have some new guys in the new Big 12. You have Texas Tech. Baylor, I think, will jump up at some point, maybe. If not, they're in trouble. Because I think that Alan, is Texas Tech a junior high church camp because they get a lot of commitments? Yeah, maybe so. That altar call at the end of Joey McGuire's visits is pretty crazy. Everyone's crying. It's amazing. Everyone's on stage together, hugging, praying, feeling the moment. There's music playing. Joey's speaking to everyone about letting Texas Tech into their hearts. Casey Poe was here this weekend, one of the best offensive linemen in the country. And him and Will Hammond here together was a really good move. I wish Micah Hudson was also here. That trio would be the best trio to sign with Texas Tech ever, in my opinion. He's the best quarterback in Texas, the best offensive lineman in Texas, and the best wide receiver in Texas. All signing with Texas Tech in the same class would be an absolute coup. If you could get 2, it would be huge. But all 3 of those guys signing with Texas, I don't think people understand. It's not an overreaction to say all 3 would be program changing. Now, I don't know that they get all 3. The Texas fan in the audience says, agree, all those commitments, and we all know they won't last. Spoken like a true church camp counselor there, Dusty. Speaking of, I think he's at church camp right now. Did Encounter already happen? Is it happening this week? Feels late this year. But if you get all 3 of those, that would be program changing. And I don't really want to use hyperbole, but it's Overreaction Monday, so why not? The course of Texas Tech football would be different if Micah Hudson, Will Hammond, and Casey Poe all committed. It's going to be really hard to hold off Texas for Micah Hudson. It's going to be really hard to hold off Casey Poe in Alabama. I mean, it is what it is in that respect. Nick Saban is Nick Saban. Casey Poe wants to play for Nick Saban, and it's hard to change that. But it seemed like he had a good visit. And this is with construction, and you can't really see the football facility. You can only get the plans. I wonder if they sit them down and look at all the plans. That would be pretty awesome. But not as cool as actually seeing the facilities. Okay, let's move on from recruiting here. It's all up in the air anyways. Micah Hudson will be here next weekend. That'll be another huge recruiting weekend for Texas Tech. You might get 3 or 4 more. Roy is here. Welcome in. Encounter has started, Dusty says. Chase says, just another guy at Alabama, another forgettable name. Maybe so, but he could be Landon Dickerson or one of those other big-time offensive linemen that go there and perform and then go to the NFL in the top rounds. You could also be a forgettable name at Alabama and be a second-round offensive lineman and play 10 years in the NFL. That's just how Alabama is. You don't have to be a memorable name as an offensive lineman at Alabama and be in the NFL for 10 years. Now, I think there is intrigue, and it is a selling point for Joey McGuire to say, let's do a bunch of firsts at Texas Tech. Let's win the Big 12 for the first time at Texas Tech. Let's go to the New Year's Six Bowl for the first time at Texas Tech in this new incarnation. Let's go to major bowls for the first time. Let's beat these teams for the first time. Let's go undefeated in Big 12 play for the first time. Let's have an undefeated record for the first time. Let's play for the playoff for the first time. These are all firsts you can do at Texas Tech. And you can't do all of those firsts other places. And if you want to be that guy that comes in and does a bunch of things that have never been done here, that is a selling point. And I think you're right, Chase. You can be a guy. You can be a top recruited ever guy if you come to Texas Tech with those ratings. And you can be kind of living in infamy if you come here and in the class that is defining Texas Tech and Joey McGuire's era. Now, if you're the first class that defines an era, I think that there will be more classes like yours coming in the pipe. I said the other day that if you do get a class like that, it kind of changes the trajectory. And I believe that. I think if you can have an opportunity at Texas Tech to sign a class that includes the top 3 players in Texas at quarterback, at wide receiver, and at offensive line, and then maybe some top 100 guys on defense too. Let's not forget the Cliff Kingsbury era. You really have an opportunity. Now, you signed 6 4-stars, depending on what service you're looking at last year. 6, 7, 8, 9 4-stars in the mix this year. He's recruiting. You can't say he's not. So I don't know if you'll get all 3. I don't know if you get all 3 and they keep him all the way to December, but that would be really, really huge. And I don't think it's an overreaction to say that that would be one of the best classes of all time for Texas Tech, especially with Micah Hudson. And there was a report from a Texas writer last week that was sent to me off a message board. And they said that the word was desperate. Texas Tech is desperate for Micah Hudson. I think that's true. And I don't think that's a bad word. You should be desperate for a guy like Micah Hudson. And I think that is the difference between maybe a Texas Tech and a Texas in that respect. Texas has signed a bunch of Micah Hudsons in their recent history. I mean, they've had some top 5 classes in the last decade. I'm not going to take any cheap shots at Texas because they haven't performed. They have recruited. They've recruited really well. And it would not be a surprise to see Micah Hudson go to Texas. They've signed a bunch of top recruits. But I don't think Texas is desperate for that type of recruit. They can just go get another one. Texas Tech, I don't think, can just go get another one yet. I think Joey McGuire is on that track. And if he signs Micah Hudson, then there will be another one. There will be another Micah Hudson that says, oh, we can go to Texas Tech and perform, especially if Micah Hudson has a great freshman year. Oh, we can go to Texas Tech and perform. Let's sign there. Roy says, which three? Casey Poe, the offensive lineman, Will Hammond, who's already committed, the quarterback, and Micah Hudson, the wide receiver. Texas should be desperate for something better than 8-5, given their recruiting history and financial investment to football. Yeah, I think Steve Sarkisian is desperate to win. We kind of talked about this on the Gauchos last night. Nick Saban does the whole rat poison thing. Lane Kiffin does the whole rat poison thing. I don't know that he believes it like Nick Saban does. It would be dangerous, I think, for Texas to start operating in that manner. For Steve Sarkisian to put away all of the hype, because they are hyped every year. It would be really dangerous for Steve Sarkisian, I think, to come out in a press conference and say, I know we have hype, but we're here to work. And I don't think that Texas has had that mentality outwardly. They could have had it inwardly and it just not work out. But I think Texas is good this year. I would probably pick them in my top 3 in the Big 12. All right. Moving on, I do want to talk about FedEx. My overreaction is that you absolutely, if Memphis wants to pay to be in, let Memphis come in. UConn, I've talked about before. UConn doesn't provide anything but a name. And if you're decoupling and going to basketball, I think it makes sense to get UConn in, but only if that's the case, and only if they are what the TV partners want for a basketball conference. I would absolutely let Memphis in as an all-sport member if they brought $5 million per team of FedEx money and this rebranding that Brett Yormark is talking about is getting a title sponsor for the Big 12. I don't think people understand the value of having the FedEx Big 12 or the Dr. Pepper Big 12 or the Phillips 66 Big 12 conference. That will be said on every national telecast of every Big 12 game, whether they're in the Big 12, playing the Big 12, or playing the FCS. Here for another FedEx Big 12 matchup between Texas Tech and the FCS or Sunbelt or Pac-12 team that is here. Here at FedEx Big 12 Texas Tech, FedEx Big 12 West Virginia, FedEx Big 12 whatever. If that can happen and you get an extra $5 million per team, $2 million per team, $10 million per team, that is another opportunity to add money where you're deficient, which is in the TV deal. And I don't think deficient is the right word, but certainly behind the other two conferences. If you can add money outside of your TV revenue, that total payout will look way, way closer to the SEC. It'll look pretty close to the Big Ten. And if the Big Ten ever finishes their TV deal, which it's finished, I guess, the Pac-12 seemingly close, maybe this time, finally, to a TV deal. If you can see all of those things happen and you can get an extra $5 million per team, that's my overreaction, that it will help the Big 12. And I don't think that's much of an overreaction, but Memphis would provide absolute value. And how long would that contract be? Well, until Memphis leaves the Big 12. You can have FedEx say, well, in perpetuity, This is the deal. And if this deal ends, Memphis is out of the Big 12. Memphis is only in the Big 12 if they can pay everyone else to be in the Big 12. And I understand that's like, well, that's like paying for friends. Yeah, Memphis would have to pay for friends. And is that a fair deal for Memphis? Maybe not. But it's a fair deal for the rest of the Big 12. Overreaction. If I can find a future in Vegas for Texas Tech minus 8.5 wins, I'm hammering the over. Lately, depending on the book, you can find 7, Michael. But if you want to go 8.5, do it. Do it. I don't know that I would. I don't know that I would hammer 8.5 over, but I certainly would lay a little bit on 7 and the over. The Guerrilla Law Firm Big 12. Woo! Absolutely. FedEx Planes can do flyovers at every Big 12 game. I'm in. The Rehino Barbecue Big 12. The Rehino Barbecue Market Big 12. There you go. No free ads, but the Rob Breaux Show respects Rehino. I don't know that that's the word I was looking for. Frat boys pay for friends. That's true. Memphis, I feel like, has a lot of frat boys, too. The FedEx Bass Pro Shop Graceland Big 12, I'm all in. And if you have Memphis in the Big 12, that's another, I hesitate to call it a destination city, but at least in the sports world, you can play at the NBA stadium there. You can maybe rotate. I know people love Kansas City. You can rotate the Big 12 championship between some NBA programs. I would love to see the NFL stadiums in the Big 12 footprint get more Big 12 championships like Kansas City, or now if you get Colorado, maybe even Denver. That would be awesome. Can we lean into being a truck stop conference with our sponsor? Yeah, the Phillips 66 Big 12. I'm in. Memphis is fun. Even the toilets don't flush at the Liberty Bowl. Yeah, let's not play at the Liberty Bowl too much, but the Buc-ee's Big 12 conference, the SEC would be in shambles. Buc-ee's is not a truck stop. Buc-ee's doesn't let trucks come in, so we can't be a Buc-ee's conference. John Morant gets excited when Texas Tech plays in Memphis because of the guns up talk. Alan, you're on fire tonight. Today, this morning, whatever it is. That is hilarious. All right, what else from the comment section are we overreacting to today? I do love the idea of a titled Big 12. I don't know if it'll be FedEx. I don't know that Memphis is an ideal ad. But if they bring the money, I will absolutely bring them in. If FedEx wants to pay 60, 70, 80, 100 million and then have that payout into the conference, I am absolutely in. Even if it's not all to the conference teams, if they pay 120 million a year and 60 of that goes to the 12 teams, the 14 teams, 70 of that goes to the 14 teams, that is what it is. Ludwig made more in one weekend of golf than I make in a year. Yeah, you got top 25. Overreaction. Ludwig will win a major in the next 2 years. I don't know that did he qualify? I guess he qualified for the U.S. Open. Does that start Thursday? When is the U.S. Open? That's soon, right? And then you have the Open also left this year. So 2 opportunities this year. And then another 4 next year. In the next 6 majors, Ludwig Aberg will be top 5 once. Anybody taking me up on that? I think so. All right. What else do we have today? We did recruiting. We did the FedEx. We did Tyler Shuck. I think that's all I had planned. Appreciate everyone commenting. That was a fun show. Hit that like button. Smash that subscribe button. Hammer it. Hammer it. We'll be back Wednesday live. We'll have another video for you tomorrow. I might talk more about the Big 12 rebranding and maybe even more about the FedEx. I'm really intrigued. I am very intrigued about the branding that the Big 12 can do. Maybe I give that's what I'm going to do tomorrow. I'm going to give a top 5 sponsors that would work for the Big 12 that they could legitimately be the blank Big 12 conference. We'll put that out tomorrow. All right. I've been Rob Breaux. Be Rob Breaux. We'll see you next time.